Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How is everyone doing this evening? Exhausted. I can only imagine it's been a busy week for you guys. So let's give another minute or two and see who else will join us tonight. How's preparations going for the test? Why is today and tomorrow hectic? Two tests tomorrow and a prep. Oh wow. Today was physics semester test. How did your physics semester test go, and what's the other module writing tomorrow? Ah, chemistry. Oh, organic chemistry. So hopefully this test will be the easier one of your tests tomorrow. I know organic chemistry is, I also found organic chemistry hard. So before we begin, do you guys have any questions? Anything you want to know or any way I can help for tomorrow's test? So for tomorrow's test is 2.5 hours, but you will comfortably finish it within 2 hours. And some people will be perhaps in an hour and a half, but the average is usually around about 2 hours. But it's not difficult work. So do you guys want to jump straight in and we can discuss the mock test? Okay, so what I'm going to do with the mock test, let's have a discussion on each question. So hopefully you guys have attempted the mock test, so you can give me the answers, and then I will give the appropriate answer if it's wrong or not. So test will be online tomorrow. So it's same way as the quizzes. They will link will open up at the test time. Then, if possible, please be online on Blackboard, collaborate for invigilation purposes, and also so that I can answer questions if there's any problems. Then another bit of admin for the testers. I know there's load shedding. Load shedding is screwing things up. If you are going to be affected by load shedding tomorrow, please send me an email, and then I can arrange with you to accommodate load shedding. And then I know it's an online test and sometimes there can be technical difficulties. So if there is a problem, contact me ASAP so that we can sort it out. So for the first question is, the average distance from Venus to the Sun is what? And why do you guys say B? So because all other answers are extremely high or low, that is correct, and process of elimination. So if we logically think about this, 1.2 light years, that is way too far. So 1.72 AU, that might work. So if you think the distance from Earth to the Sun is 1 AU and Venus is closer, 1.3 million kilometers is way too short. 1.3 billion kilometers is much, much larger than AU, and 2.3 million miles as well. So the only one that is reasonably correct is 1.72 AU. Then question number 2. Our Milky Way galaxy has a diameter of 75,000 light years. How long does it take light to cross the diameter of the galaxy? And why do you guys say D? So yes, light year refers to light traveled in 1 year. So that is correct, 75,000 light years. In question number 3, if light takes 8 minutes to reach Earth from the Sun and 1.3 hours to reach Saturn, what is the distance from the Sun to Saturn? And why do you guys say number C? Yes, through calculation, and the calculation is straightforward. So we know it takes 8 minutes from the Sun to Earth. Sun to Earth is 150 million kilometers. So you say 150 million kilometers divided by 8, and you know how much it is in 1 minute. Then you say 1.3 hours, how many minutes is this? You multiply the previous answer with how many minutes is 1.3 hours, and then you get 9.75 AUs. Then question number 4. The apparent visual magnitude of a star is 7.3. This tells us what about the star? So yes, C is correct because if you go through all the answers, A, one of the brightest stars in the night sky, no, then it must be minus. Bright enough that it would be visible even during the day, no. So remember the limit of human eye is magnitude 6. So not visible with the unaided eye, very far from Earth, very close to Earth. So the only answer that works is you cannot see it with the naked eye. In question 5, an object has been located orbiting the Sun at a distance from the Sun of 65 AUs. What is the approximate orbital period of this object? Why do you guys say number E? And I see there's a D and I see there's a A. So yes, Kepler's third law is correct. So can you give me the equation of Kepler's third law? Yes. P squared equals AU cubed. And from there on, it's just plug and play. So yes, the correct answer is E. Is everybody happy with that? Okay, cool. Going on to the next question. The star Alpha CMA has an apparent visual magnitude of minus 1.46, and the star Alpha Set has an apparent visual magnitude of 2.53. Both stars are the same distance from Earth. This tells us what? So C and B. Why do you guys say C and why do you say B? Okay, so C answers for B and answers to C. So which one is right? So let's do elimination. So both stars are the same distance from Earth. So that means CMA must be far from Alpha Set and Alpha CMA must be close to Alpha Set. That means we can eliminate numbers D and E. Then the only ones remaining is Alpha CMA will be fainter than us than Alpha Set, or B, Alpha CMA must produce more energy than Alpha Set, and C, Alpha CMA must produce less energy than Alpha Set. So you guys are correcting. So they are the exact same distance, but one is brighter than the other. And then if it's more bright, therefore it must produce more energy. So therefore, the correct answer is Alpha CMA must produce more energy than Alpha Set. You guys happy with this? Awesome. Then question 7. The table below lists the spectral types of 5 stars. Which one has the greatest surface temperature? And why do you guys say number E? Yes, O be a fine girl, kiss me. O be a fine guy, kiss me. So look at the acronyms. O is first, so that means O will have the highest surface temperature. Then question number 8. Most of the light we see coming from the sun originates where? Yes, you guys are correct. Most of the light we see originates in the photosphere. In question number 9, star A has an apparent visual magnitude of 15.4 and star B has an apparent visual magnitude of 12.4. Star A is this what, then star B? Why do you say number D? Why do you say number A? So let me give you guys a hint. So the hint is the answer is either number C or number D if you use the formula. So the lower it is on a scale, the more brighter it is. So from this, we already know star B is more brighter than star A. So if we plug this into our equation, we know that star A is 16 times fainter than star B. So we can see here the apparent visual magnitude of star A is 15.4 and the apparent visual magnitude is 12.4 for star B. So that already means star B is brighter than star A. But now we ask is, what is star A? In this case, we'll be given a formula, so yes, he would be given a formula. So this means star A is 16 times fainter than star B. Everybody happy? Awesome. So just reasoning with numbers, straightforward plug and play, but I will give you the formulas. You don't need to know it by heart. I will give you formulas. So that's where my philosophy is a bit different than the other lecturers' design teaching philosophy, is in industry or in academia or wherever you end up working one day. No one is going to ask you what is the formula of that. The only thing you need to do is if someone asks you to calculate something or to find an answer something, you just need to know where to find the formula and how to apply the formula. So to memorize the formula is, let's say this rather, it's useless information to keep in your mind. It's more useful to know how to apply the formula than to memorize the formula. So there's always this old saying going around saying a good scientist and a good engineer will know exactly in which textbook to find a formula. So they weren't on a mock paper though, yes, they weren't on a mock paper. So I deliberately did this on mock paper so you can search for the formula. So you know it's in reasoning of numbers, then you can just go search for the correct reasoning of numbers. Then question number 10, the what is or are the hot gases that are the moving extension of the sun's corona? So remember, it's a mock test. So it's set up like you would do a normal test, but this is still a practice test. So you can just search for the formula. So I know while doing this test, you guys are probably having your textbook in one or close by, but tomorrow you're not allowed to have a textbook close by. Pleasure. So question number 10, what is or are the hot gases that are a moving extension of the sun's corona? So I have a B, C, and E. So why do you guys say E? Yes, you guys are correct. Solar wind forms part of the corona, and you are right, wind equals gas. So yes, the correct answer is number E. So remember, solar flare has to do with the magnetic field lines from that originates from sunspots. And as we have learned, some material can escape those magnetic field lines, and that is flares. But solar wind is in the corona. Now, question number 11. When we say that gravitation is universal, we mean that. So we have a number E. Anyone else? Also a number E. We have a number D. So why do you say D and why do you say E? So let's go through the options. So it is important in all aspects of science, not necessarily. It depends on what science you are talking about. And so it could be deduced from the appearance of the universe. And no, not really. For every force, there's an equal and opposite force. That is one of Newton's laws, but not gravity. The force of gravity from one object extends to infinity. Uh, in theory, yes, but that's not in the scope of this work. But it's a fact that it is a property of all matter. So yes, the answer is number E. So photons have no mass, I think. Yes. Then question number 12. To determine the radius of a distant star, we need to know its what? So why do you guys say number D? So yes, gravity shouldn't reach to infinity, but it comes down to the 1 over r squared rule. So you can be very far away from the object. The gravitational influence will be so small you can literally be neglected. And that's where it basically comes in. It goes to infinity, but yes, it's literally when it goes to infinity, it's so small that you can basically leave it out. So because you remember this from the quiz, so remember, if we want to determine the radius of a star, the two properties we look for is temperature and luminosity. So when we look at a distant star, the two most important variables that we are interested in is temperature and luminosity. If we know the temperature and luminosity, then we can calculate its radius and we can do other cool stuff as well, as we have learned in this course. In question number 13, the force of gravity between objects depends on what? Why do you guys say number D? That's the correct formula, but let's go through this. So, the force of gravity depends on two objects depend on the mass of each object. Yes, gravity depends on the mass. On the distance on the distance each object is from Earth. No, because the two objects are related to one another. So B falls away. Then C, the distance between the two objects. Yes, that is correct. Then E, none of the above is also true, not true, so that falls away. But both statements A and C is correct, so the answer is number D. Then question 14. On the HR diagram, white dwarfs are found where? Yes, so this is something you just know, you will know as a fact. So on the left corner below the main sequence, so number D. Then question number 15. Absorption lines due to interstellar medium indicate that some components of the interstellar medium are cold and of low density because yes, number D is correct. So we know from Kirchhoff's laws, if we have interstellar dust and a cold background, what would that give us? That will give us an emission spectrum. But we know the absorption lines we can see in the medium will be narrow. And that is because we have a cold background and a gas, so the lines will be narrow. Then question number 16. The Copernican system was not accurate in predicting the positions of the planets because yes, it included uniform circular motion. In question 17, Galileo's telescopic discoveries of the moons of Jupiter proved what? So we have E and we have B. So why E or why B? Yes, Venus has phases. So number E is incorrect. So we can also cancel Jupiter's orbit was a perfect circle. We can cancel that out. So Jupiter orbits the Earth. They already know that. So which one of these two? So yes, the correct answer is B. So yes, he discovered the moons around Jupiter, but what importance does that have? So that determines that Jupiter is orbiting the Sun and not Earth is one. And the second thing is there's other moons in the solar system as well. In question 18, a solar or lunar eclipse will occur when? Yes, you guys are correct. That is number A. In question 19, the ecliptic is what? Yes, that is number D, because the ecliptic is the center line of the zodiac. It is also the projection of Earth's orbit on the sun, and it's also the apparent path of the sun around the sky. Then question 19, star names are what? So yes, Arabic is correct. So yes, the zodiac is all the star constellations, such as Capricorn, Pisces, Virgo. Yes, there are also Greek names, you are correct. But what most people actually don't realize is about 90% of all star names is Arabic. And that is due to during the time when real math started happening and I want to say astronomy started picking up, the most research being done was in the Middle East. So, have you guys ever thought where algebra comes from? Arabic numerals comes from? That's algebra from the Middle East. So, in the Middle Ages, the Middle East was the scientific hub of the world, and then something changed and that fell apart. But yes, that's why 90% of all star names has Arabic names. And that is the mock test. The first page again, so let me go back to the first page. This first page or the first question page? So can you please show questions 11 to 15? 11 to 15. Pleasure sake, it's not difficult questions. Do you guys have any other questions about the work? So how many questions are there going to be tomorrow? Let me check. I think it's, I will tell you now how many questions there will be. There is going to be 50 questions. So from that 50 questions, 46 of them will be multiple choice and the rest a little bit longer. Second page. So for the multiple choice question, each question will be 1 mark. And except for the longer value, longer questions, that's going to be an open space where you can type in. That's going to be more questions, more marks per question. So, for example, stupid example for the longer questions is I might ask something like, describe the four most important discoveries of Galileo. Then you have to know those four discoveries is he through his telescope, he saw the moon has craters, he also saw, like we said in the previous question, that Jupiter has moons, he determined that Venus has phases, and he's also seen sunspots. So yes, you have an exam for this module as well. No, that doesn't matter. So for the longer questions, you don't have to do any calculations. So you guys will do fine tomorrow. So the out of previous years, the average is usually for the semester test around about 65%. So yes, it's going to be more knowledge type questions. So my philosophy about setting question papers is I'm not going to be an arse trying to make the test as difficult as possible, trying to catch you out. My papers is usually fair, but I have to add a difficult question or two difficult questions for the students that like a little bit of a challenge. So even if you leave those one or two difficult questions out, you should still be able to achieve 80% of the paper. So usually 80% of my paper is fair questions, and then the last 20% is more difficult questions for students that like a challenge. But in theory, if you leave those difficult questions out, you should still be able to achieve 80% for the paper. So, sir, just to get the facts straight, tomorrow there's multiple choice, a bit longer questions at 5:30, completely online with Blackboard collaboration for invigilation. Yes, that is correct. And if you have problems with load shedding, please let me know beforehand so I can make a proper arrangements for you to ride at a time where there's no load shedding. So do you guys have any other questions? No, you don't need to turn on your camera. So the thing for Blackboard Collaborate is, um, so I know out of the past experiences when COVID started, some students have connectivity problems and issues. So Blackboard Collaborate is not purely for collaboration. It's just there so if you have a question, so for example, if you are in a lecture venue and you have a question, there's a problem, you raise your hand and I would have come to you and helped you. But unfortunately, with online tests, that is not possible. So I open up a session for Blackboard Collaborate where you could just unmute, ask a question, or type and ask a question if there's an issue. That's the one thing. And then secondly, I can also then give time warnings, stating every 15 minutes or every half an hour you have X amount of time left. And that's the only reasons why I'm using it. So no, it's not compulsory to join a collaboration session. So you can just join it if you have any problems. So I'm going to make an announcement on it tonight. So if possible, it will be great if you can keep logged into Blackboard Collaborate for an entire session. But I know for some students there is data limitations, bandwidth limitations. So if it's not possible, then it's not compulsory. So that's the only thing. So if you guys have no further questions, then you guys are more than welcome to log off. Good luck with preparations for chemistry and my module. I'm sure it will be great. I will be active for another minute or two if you have questions. Otherwise, good luck and have a wonderful evening. So the more difficult questions will be to ask. Um, just describe things in a little bit more. So, one of the questions is I will ask you, for example, how does convection work, for example, in a star? Or how can a supernova explosion trigger star formation? I'm still waiting to hear from the HOD on the stargazing. So it's a pleasure. So hopefully this helps you a little bit. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening and I will see you tomorrow during the test. Thank you guys. Good luck with the preparations.